Hey buddies, welcome to Ask Games. My name is Simon. This is a setup play and review for the game Bellum Magica. This is by Blue Orange Games, a couple of French people behind this in terms of the designer and the artist. It's ages 10 plus and it's for 2 to 5 players. It takes about 30 minutes to play. This is a game where you're trying to get food and you're trying to get swords, and you're going to play as one of these unique characters. I happened to play this one last time and it was quite a close game. I'll put the others back in the box for the time being. You need to die as well, and you're going to need these various components out. We've got shields, we happen to have treasures, we happen to have kind of strange little components here which basically stop rerolls, which I'll get back onto. You've also got these cards in here too. So what these cards represent are various things that we can acquire, and you're also going to need yourself a little player aid as well, which tells you a little bit more about what you can do on your turn. So let me leave everything in shot for you. So whilst I'm doing this, if you haven't done so already, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. But we happen to have this character. This is, like I said, who I played last time with. And as you can see, there's, from what I can tell, not much difference. But as you can see, I've got food on the left, and I've got swords on the right. So you've got various cards that you're going to have out as well. So you're going to be sorting these out by their respective decks. If you look on the other side, you can see you can always be fighting one of these, I guess, little townsfolk to get yourself a barrel and food. You're going to be using food to gain various things. And then let's talk about the other cards that you can be dealing with. So you've got various cards of various different denominations. So you can have them all of the respective things. You're always going to have exactly 3. So once you've fought off all of these things, then they're kind of done with. So in this case, you can fight this off for 2. So we're going to roll a die. Let's start off with doing that. And we're going to roll a die, and let's just say I roll a 2, let's say. On my turn, you can do the following thing. You can collect stuff. So what you're going to do is you're going to collect, in this case, food. And if you have equal or more than, or if you have more than anyone else in terms of maps, then you're going to take yourself one of these grey treasures. So they all need to be taken out and flip face down because they've got different values. But these are mainly 1s. The greys are sort of 2s and 3s. And the red ones are 4s. So this is how you get a grey one. Reds we'll talk about later. In this case, I've secretly got 3 points. Most points in the game wins, which is from treasures, and the game ends once you've collected 10 cards. So over here, we've now gained our treasure, and we've gained ourselves a barrel, which we'll come back on to explain later. So we've done that, and we've done this. So that is pretty much our turn done. We've collected our stuff. We have then attacked, basically attacking stuff such as over here, and then what you can do is attack other stuff as you get stronger, because eventually this deck is going to run out. So fight other stuff to get better stuff. You can fight things with the 4 on it as well. As you can see, there's a few cards of level 2 until eventually you've got level 5 stuff whereby you can get more grey treasures, and 6s where you've got red treasures which go up to values 4 and 5. There are 6 4s and 4 5s. And then you've also going to see these other symbols as well, and that's because to fight them, you not only need 6 strength, you need to get magic swords as well. That's how you're going to fight. But the most important thing is telling you how you can actually improve and skill up. And that's where this deck comes into play. So you can buy cards. The cost, well, this is how everyone's going to start off with. You're all going to take one of these at random. So everyone's going to take one of these. They all look slightly different in terms of layout. So everyone's going to take one of them. And then you can start buying cards. So let me show you how the buying deck works. So starting off, you've got this kind of thing down here. You can be acquiring this, which is going to cost you 4 food and a glyph, which is basically a rune or a gem, or 3 of those glyphs. And in this case, you can get yourself, you can always see the backside, so you can have a deck to work through, so you can always see what the cost is going to be. And once that's bought, the next one's going to come down. There'll be a new deck underneath. But in this case, you get loads of maps. Obviously great for getting treasures, the grey treasures. But again, if there's a tie for most maps, everyone's going to take one of those lowly 1 or 2 brown treasures instead. So that's the hardest thing to try and get, these ones over here. And you're going to move them to left or right. So in this case, we could chuck under here, which unfortunately does not have a little leaf to show you where it goes. But next time this rolls, so the next person's going to roll, the next captain, and you're going to resolve this out. And if they happen to roll, let's say, a 5, and you don't want to get a 5 because you want to get maps and treasures, you might spend that to make a re-roll. In this case, you can't roll any more times, but in this case, you're going to get yourself 3 food, and you can take 1. You've got 1 sword, but you can do a steal. Steal and lets you steal from somebody else if you want to, but you've got to have at least equal to strength. 1 is not enough, and if you do happen to have enough strength, then they are going to get themselves a bit of extra health, which is going to look like this. Each time you fight them, whoever you're stealing from, another character, another opponent, then they can strengthen up their base and getting more defense. And sometimes these cards as well can come with defense too. So you're just going to take one of those and place them on your board as well. Again, you're going to need these magic swords to actually manage to counter whatever it is you're fighting. So those are the most hardest things to fight. Let's show you some of the easier ones though. So this will only cost you 2 food, and against Witch, give you some glyphs if you chuck on the left side, or get some magic swords on the right hand side, way up to, again, the middle stuff we've already shown you as well, which is basically either lighter difficulty or harder difficulty things to get to give you better stuff. And you either want to go broad and try and get something on everything, or try and go narrow, and in this case, hoping to not get a 3 or a 4. Now, sometimes some of these cards give you these things, which basically means if someone tries to make you re-roll, you can say nope, so you can chuck one of those in. And that's how the game works. So what do we think of the game? It doesn't take too long, it's nice and light, definitely more kid-friendly. Obviously there's some luck, a lot of luck going on with what you draw, plus the die rolls, but it's fairly quick and inoffensive. The 6.2 rating, it's nothing particularly deep, and yeah, it goes relatively quickly. Not a game I'd play often, but I like the fact you've got choice with where do you want to go. But I think the strategy is fairly obvious. I think it'll be fairly clear on if the game triggers once you've got 10 treasures, where do you want to try and go hard on trying to get yourself some food, and therefore trying to get yourself typically more cards, or to go to the right hand side, which you're going to get. You need some food at some point to do that, to make sure you've got more swords to fight, to enable yourself to, for example, get treasures by fighting those kind of level 6 kind of cards as well down here. So a few different ways of looking at it. But there we go, something different to show you from Blue Orange. But all their games are fairly light anyway, so there's kind of nothing unexpected in terms of maybe what you want to do about that. There you go, thanks for watching. That has been Bellum Magica. Thanks for watching, and for now, back to the table.